player oda wachi Alexander Isak ne story no na me mfa nhyɛ ase because mo se nkofo interest e wo ho pa enra me be ka kyerɛ o say the CEO of football Edema Liverpool bobuku no Michael Edwards ekoshia Newcastle from penyimfo no and after the meeting Michael Edwards communicated chair Universal 22 for ne say afedie say ne nkomo no ni meeting na course no positive a bibia ekoye Edema team e friend say Liverpool na Newcastle for aka trom say omon for omo bid no enfambra na Liverpool for ko prepare omo bid no bid a Liverpool for ko prepare ni nyina no na Newcastle for say omo de offer na e be so many ni beba Newcastle for pay 150 million pounds and now more expecting na Liverpool for the omo first official bid ne call ye no the first report about ni say na bid ni 120 million pounds and omo de call ye with add-ons but chire no and a confirmation about say a guarantee fee no 110 million pounds and a Liverpool for the call ye and a add-ons near 10 and two car add-ons and a guarantee fee ni boma 120 million pounds Newcastle for ko biemu no omo share offer no mubufu ye say omo no 120 million pounds ne de en so many enti omo bufu pa na omo ka tell Liverpool for ne say only two things omo Liverpool for the two conditions ade ebe mo maton Isak e de ma Liverpool no de edi kan so mbenya replacement for Isak replacement no Oli Watkins and a Wisa omo enya replacement e be den e de ma Newcastle for so beton Isak because as it stands now omo no madan aka Isak omo ton na e be den so betimenya bi enti omo be here replacement the second condition say omo pay 150 million pounds and the free Liverpool team no enti after Liverpool for present omo first official bid no Newcastle for ama Liverpool for two conditions ye here replacement 150 million pounds and omo catch Liverpool for already na Newcastle for so ede bid akwa koma Universal 22 for ne say on pesa brand FN say Isak etina na tena no betina no new offer na de man no obenya release clause ewom to 2026 na ne salary no oje wo Newcastle no currently Isak eje 120,000 pounds a week na obema the new offer de na eko 200,000 pounds a week so the new offer na Newcastle for the man Isak no move no eji na free 120,000 pounds a week to 200,000 pounds a week na Isak abeye the highest paid player Newcastle boboku nim ana Newcastle for mpanyimfo ema the senior players Newcastle Fabian Schär Dan Ben ana Bruno Guimaraes sa players miensa we esane Isak communicating the reason why I was at Newcastle boboku nim after say Fabian Schär Dan Ben Bruno Guimaraes any abrante fence Isak kasaye Newcastle for offer the new offer 200,000 pounds a week no Isak aka achiro mo say na dwen no on sesa na dwen wa making the mind the way Liverpool team no ana opese okọ me no wo ka say Michael Edwards ye CEO of football Edema Liverpool Asia Fenway Group no Michael Edwards any Fenway Group kwa akohia Liverpool for prepare on second bid omo de beko Liverpool for second bid no ken mete report bi say ebeye 140 million pounds and Liverpool ebeye on second bid na 140 million pounds no emu 80 million pounds upfront is come between any menu ya no 80 million pounds na nyame aduma next year o metua 50 million pounds na add-ons 10 abeka ho na ye 140 million pounds enti Liverpool omo CEO of football Michael Edwards ekosia Fenway for no omo be prepare another bid second bid no ebeko 140 million pounds 80 million pounds upfront 50 million pounds next year na add-ons 10 abeka ho Liverpool for say omo ogidie say on by August 16th on betimenya Isak Liverpool for say by August 16th on betimenya Isak Newcastle for Kane when the country omo pay 150 no on person omo fa Visa ana Oli Watkins boom 150 million pounds no on person omo de fa Visa ana Brante FN say Oli Watkins enti Liverpool Isak ana eye Newcastle nkomo no de woman nyina na me de ama no mame nko Arsenal transfer committee no atena ase ye meeting kakra na Arsenal wo so mo tonton players ni bi players na Arsenal ebe tonton no Trossard Gabriel Martinelli omu nyina no omu tikeka e wo Arsenal bobuku nim na eno na nhwehwemu abeto dwa se yese Mikel Arteta between Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli no se Liverpool transfer committee ne yes omo ton ba ko a ono Arteta no opese Gabriel Martinelli ni momotina so mo ton Trossard ne mpokra na hani bebre by Gabriel Martinelli no yese Arteta empesa Arsenal transfer committee ne beton no enti sa two players Gabriel Martinelli Trossard sa two players no se ba ko betina dia Arteta etusu Gabriel Martinelli se onu mum entena Manchester United dey call Brighton say omo kopɛ midfielder na Brighton na Manchester United call ye no omo call say omo kopɛ Carlos Baleba ana Manchester United for call Brighton na omo ye omo say omo kopɛ Carlos Baleba no on say Brighton for e sign 27 million euros ana add-ons 3 million e wo Lille ana omo dey share contract nim say dache so omo Brighton for e ton Carlos Baleba Leo for benya ASL on clause 15% after so metua 27 million euros no. Now the timer Chelsea ebe fa Caicedo no. And them mo kofa Carlos Baleba be ye replacement. Manchester United ko so mo pe Carlos Baleba. And Brighton for see any problem o. Ye dey tonton. Mo 100 million pounds amon fa be fa Carlos Baleba. And Brighton abo Manchester United 100 million pounds for Carlos Baleba.
Baleba
100 million pounds. And somebody almost say 15% that's how they are malleable for. And omo ton players say for so we in Brighton for.
100.
And Manchester United say we dey damase 100 mon from adie. Manchester United actually omo ho e dey free Carlos Baleba 100 million no. Na Manchester wa ye Fenerbahce ni Rodrigo. Ma me ma dey chim pa. Un say na me be ye Fenerbahce. Jose Mourinho pe Brahim Diaz and David Alaba. Na Rodrigo dey no ken Fenerbahce in fa official bidding call Real Madrid. Fenerbahce any Rodrigo for nkasai. Na de tie ne yese. On say Roberto Carlos. Oye Real Madrid for legend. And o free Real Madrid no. Roberto Carlos echo ball Fenerbahce bobuku no. And currently Oko Real Madrid bobuku ni ma Roberto Carlos director of institutional relationship. On the Yedema Real Madrid. Enti eyo no ana Fenerbahce for na contact Roberto Carlos. Sa one Rodrigo ne Real Madrid for nkasa na no mpokra no Fenerbahce for no mu peni loan enti Fenerbahce for ni mum contact Roberto Carlos a say oye ambassador edema Real Madrid bobuku no ana omo say omo try na omo ne Real Madrid for nkasa na omo ni Rodrigo nkasa already Roberto Carlos so ye Brazil ni enti Fenerbahce for dia fa Roberto Carlos so say omo pe Rodrigo loan enye permanent deal loan ana omo pe enti Fenerbahce for fa contract en koma Real Madrid omunko hu Rodrigo ba omu de esi Roberto Carlos so say on Real Madrid ana Rodrigo nkasa so betima bebo loan e de ama ejo se mo ina Liverpool for ya ati asemde na asemda Liverpool for tini nyina no eye Konate ken ye say abrante na adwen ya asesa ho unse Konate mesan ye say after say Liverpool for say share Konate no enkomode akoso ade na Konate pe no asa omo ya reach agreement am ye say abrante na adwen ya asesa e ba sa na Real Madrid entimi fa Konate I see Liverpool for GDA say Konate ebetima ba be renew the contract e dey my team e friend say Liverpool bobuku no na Diego Pablo Simeone and the coach Edema Atletico Madrid wakwa ko hu club president Enrique Cerezo and Diego Pablo Simeone aka che ne say osre na signings no ye no aka me for da ba kope and Enrique Cerezo ye president Edema Atletico Madrid say me for da be na aka o say aka Makasadu Papa your friend say Diego Pablo Simeone waka che the club president wa Atletico Madrid say signings na wo ye ni nyina no aka me for da ba kopo hia no mfimfin ho eye Makasadu no wogidie say Atletico Madrid for push a ombenya Makasadu na ye say Diego Pablo Simeone pokra last season na Barcelona share Atletico Madrid de bia no omobo match ni bia wi a no akotwe Makasadu na abukudina baby no ne kasa o fili no on say Diego Simeone at the time I know see akan no obosa eniedin body bi no hu ne say Makasadu that type ni bi enti wa catch Atletico Madrid for club president say onko fa Makasadu embra na Manchester City for episode almost sign Barcelona player and sign a transfer na be almost share with Pau Kubasi and a Barca say almost ton Pau Kubasi and almost call Kundi and Manchester City di 80 million euros e call Barcelona so almost pe Kundi and also so Barcelona so almost ton can only him say Manchester City for air prepare 60 million euros for Abrante friend say Fermin Lopez. Manchester City air prepare 60 million euros for Fermin Lopez. James McCarthy person free Manchester City. James McCarthy free Manchester City. Man City for decide say the replacement a Barcelona midfielder Fermin Lopez. And to almost prepare 60 million euros at the Barcelona. Or might try so many Barcelona player. Yes, 60 million euros. Say James McCarthy kwa na Manchester City at 60 million euros at the for James McCarthy. Okay. Now Ferran Torres aka catch agent ne said the so Barcelona na ninja. I said obi embuno obi ama ne credit.
Ferran Torres menele ya. Akwa so goes pa na. O
goes pa last season.
Na said ra cry friend say obeshe two.
So
you we say la me ya Madina no be na.
Aye.
So no so she two ni.
O she two.
But obi amolidi.
Last season one na third highest.
And that's open central for na. On pe media team.
Na omo anka.
Ah o shegu ano so ma ba jeje no so.
Oh yes so on TAC say. Ye beton play bia o Barcelona you no Ferran Torres. Ombonidi.
Na say so approve it. From bench there. Otimina 2018 goals winner.
Yeah. And no push here Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick a catch and say or no Ferran Torres no dinidi.
Say Rashford the cross who din channel.
I need in cross saying.
Ferran Torres do need.
Yes, enti the baba no. I me the manu ma member dia kan so ma. Say in case say ebereche eze. Crystal Palace for no bona nko forma. Arsenal for decide say Newcastle Anthony Gordon your option. Okay. Anthony Gordon. Jiku mebeka na asemenu ade chiro. Say Leo Aston Villa Villarreal ana Roma. Dia me no kasa say no Sparta Moscow. Eso so e dey offer akwa akoma fa na bachi for Jiku. Sparta Moscow e wo Russia omo dia ba. Na me do be wie no so no. Anthony a reject Saudi for di na wie ya. Anthony Manchester United Anthony o Saudi no. Yes say o teta last hour e dey Manchester United apostle obedie mu. No mo de na ma Robertis. Na unse no mbeka tro say Spurs for omo center back Christian Romero. Bayern for a pesa center back no. There everybody say Christian Romero a free Spurs for decide say ombeko Barcelona. Ronald Araujo. Na Spurs for a replacing for Christian Romero. Ah, he said baby
player Debbie Tom. Hey. Is it Frankie Dion na Sumajono? Anderson, Brad.
Me that second.
Dion na Sumajono.
Say the ball the second half of the season. I think say or you're good to go. Say what ball pass.
Who team that be a basia Tom and answer win
Ronaldo the any day. No question me woman second. A bar quality na enyese form no na atekwa. Pau Kubasi Nigo Martinez was so starting. Nebum, the problem is that Barcelona have a system. System no, it requires some certain skill sets. Ronaldo NB. Tie, nsusunye womu. You might be very good, but ebia coach bia system bia system no won't fit. It doesn't mean you are a bad player. Because can be can't pass it. Jules Konde right back. Alejandro Baldi left back. Inigo Martinez Pau Kubasi. JDC last season if free or that's back four. Me catch us a team be Eddie be last season or catch us a team no they will suffer. Me what? Because to be very honest, or be ordinary. But the coach was just system no to the extent he say system no alpha or when they play together they seem strong, solid. Ronaldo ni attribute power ya there. Ni pace. But say you communicate, you ball coordinated defense. You just baller, you carry ball no fanko. In fact, Barcelona person you transitioner. Inigo Martinez betinya suma diagonal pass. Pau Kubasi betinya suma diagonal pass. Ronaldo your own team in bi oni sa skill set no. Say you defending the coordinated back four. Into you move obi and follow back. Into communication very important. Ronaldo your own team communicate sir. And it is our area. Let me give you one example. Barcelona, even last year, some ball time will be an Inigo Martinez. So Oniwa wants a back for no struggle pa. Because Inigo and the lead or more communication. One step, one went to UK somewhere to. Sadie no Onibi. Sa leadership skill and communicate Onibi. It does not make him a bad player, but system no. He would have to adapt, and yes, our problem. So I think I adapt to society. Or no, about what added advantage because our pace. That's sad, you know. Okay, Femi Lopez, here, Kwame, Stella group of one. David Manasseh, and in the group of one. Femi Lopez, normal linking it to Bayern, normal linking to the Barca. Wouldn't pay fair say. So be the 60 million euros. I'm a Barca beja tomboy no.
60 million. Femi Lopez.
He's a French player today. Wait, under Xavi, he was the main guy. Me boy. Oh, you're French. I'm telling you. Say yes, shut him now. Into danger. Say obi the sister at all. Sir, say good agency. Sa Stella Group for no manage Kobe Menu, manage Kamavinga, Konate, manage Omar Mamous, very strong agents. You know, I said no one person boy didn't pay but see the best thing for Femi Lopez, to be very honest. So it's not Barca didn't be Qatar, so the money more you do, but born the Bopadi. One be the development over. But they say you know the main super sub Ferran Torres. Wait, now one day pie number 10. Of course, they say Torres will prove it.
They say Rashford.
And they say Rashford. And they say still now Ferran Torres na number 1. Says they say Ferran on the coach and they say, oh you're on number 9. They say when you need wings woo, on counting as a winger today. And they say oh no na ye Lewandowski only wa a Ferran Torres na eba. And as Obi Ababe can fin from the bench. He say it looks like Rashford the cranny din ya Piacha and Femi Lopez. I could have born na Albono. Last year when develop it. It is a hope a DB party about this boy. They should let him go. But say sisters is here. Calapota or Beton Oriano a catch and the flicks a concord animal for bra. Barcelona is here. Or Beton. Mean sa class uncle for no hardly. Ken, they trust you. Transfer figures, any fees in home. And Pempin is our better say, ya Toby over 100 million pounds. I am release clauses. Into you're looking at Ebia Neymar, oh, why is it 222? Okay, release clause, anything Amana Kobasa. Joao Felix from Benfica to Atletico Madrid, 128 million euros. It makes sense because a release clause. Enzo Fernandez from Benfica to Chelsea, 121 million euros. It makes sense. But hardly say you are negotiating a conclude on a figure to say Coutinho DNB, to say Kylian Mbappe from Monaco to Paris Saint-Germain, 180 million euros at DNB. And Tacy. Nemo, the very day I Liverpool for agree say Omutua sika kwa kofa flowing vita sika no a doors be which was around 120 million euros no which is 116 million pounds no sad day no Liverpool for the omu kojina corner bia it was obvious to say Alexander Isak did no bebre because we all know say Liverpool overpaid for flowing vita
did not overpaid.
Oh King. This market.
Not one deserves 115.
See, Richard Hughes. Any Liverpool for guys no more negotiations. They've done well on some of the deals. Milos Kekes, excellent deal. What I said, I think it is okay. But they will only overpay for Hugo Ekitike 95 million euros.
Yeah, Ekitike.
They overpaid. Flowing Vits, 160 million pounds over 120 million euros. They overpaid. Inti say what the who Jina corner bia? Emma Newcastle for no opportunity to ask for more. Maybe I thought the making as we actually. Because the very phrase they are Liverpool, yes, sir. Your one statement say Newcastle for no because Liverpool for say they are ready to pay more than what they paid for Flowing Vit. One to say statement, you know. It is a Liverpool case. We are ready to overpay more than we paid for Flowing Vita. We are Newcastle already.
How much you want £120 or more overpaid? Say I'm not here to come 150 million pounds, close to 170 million euros. I could cover 190 million euros.
Yeah, 150 million pounds, same as 170 million euros.
170 million.
Yeah.
But which 95 million euros for a caretaker?
Now it's 170 for Isaka. It makes a lot of sense, Anna. Oh no, still.
Yeah,
and the Flowing Vita deal, you know. Exactly. So understand them.
Newcastle, Liverpool is
okay. She said Liverpool a breaking transfer market, you know, for British on Flowing Vita. Or the one window, or we are breaking sounds over breaking people. One window. But I see the arguments are that Alexander Isak does.
You're the club.
What dear? In someone my back over here, they say 86, 89
million pounds.
In someone go for
kind. 150. Okay.
He says Liverpool they breaking British record. They sound so the fourth floor say about account.
They say Chelsea akoda.
They say Chelsea asumadwo, Manchester City asumadwo. In someone ya can't first our clubs we won't pass. They say omu nyina asumadwo. Now Liverpool are paying. You see, me, I don't have a problem with clubs decide to pay. You see, we need to understand. Where I make some show. You see, in the early 2000s, Class A strikers, and I say A class strikers, Ronaldo, Thierry Henry, Van Nistelrooy, Rahul. I'm not Class A for no.
Yeah.
Listen to me. You can't say be a Class A striker. Class A striker consistently for about 3 years minimum. Our league who have a top class performance in terms of numbers. In this case, goals. Plus Champions League performance. You see, before we will term you as a Class A striker, you are performing in the league and you are performing in the Champions League. What's the making say? Into the early 2000s. Those strikers I mentioned, sometimes not Roy my Kaimu, but they were Class B. Me was still time. I mean, form right now. Ken, and they what the Alexander Isak better Class A strikers in one.
Sisi Isak, me also soccer class.
They didn't know soccer class
because of the numbers.
The numbers,
the last 2 seasons. Oh, Premier League. If the Premier League and
it's not a yardstick for Class A striker. Alexander Isak about Champions League 6 games
just 6 games. But Elena year cannot because your players be say Giovanni Evamo. Your strikers be one move and destroy. Your because I can move and destroy better 200.
So you see
can Ronaldo Nazario
A class strikers. A class.
But David Ngogo online. Say me the critic.
No, but
I can't take any David Ngogo.
But
Liverpool supporters are way David Ngogo.
No. I can take a perform me with Frankfurt. I'm going to know after your young guy be and who think
any system, strikers no system.
No, but you
previously can be come here. Come here sense na.
Yeah, they can name one. You see. No, but see, say market in the For instance, I mean, example, Benjamin Sesko. Almost value 95 million euros and above, according to RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. We bought only 6 Champions League games. Champions League, Champions League experience as a striker. He has only 6 games in the Champions League. Here, Benjamin Sesko. 2 years Bundesliga goals. Last year, previous years, no share 14. And the last time you boy, you share 13. Mama Chorade, what kind of minimum? About 27 Bundesliga goals in 2 seasons. 27 Bundesliga goals. Seu Grashi, time no was to get, so say 29. 1 season or the pack Benjamin Sesko, 2 seasons more. Seu Grashi, no. Or African in the way, yes, would be 29 Africa for the year 4 years. Seu Grashi, or the 1 season. Abatano. Now, this Benjamin Sesko Champions League experience, he has almost zilch because group stages they hit me fan castle. And look, Alexander Isak, he's been performing very well in the league. Much respect to that because league, Premiership, last 3 seasons, was 54 goals in 3 seasons, no problem. Okay. But my point is that.
And so what you call ABC games, and say 230 draw, and Ababeto, I just screen so Mr. Mo, say that draw is here, ABC games, trust me.
But my point in say, say better be. Our market is over 120 million pounds. It should be a class A striker. Okay, Pacho.
KOIJ.
Okay.
Numbers.
KOIJ.
KOIJ.
Okay.
3 numbers. Say 3 letters.
Yeah.
A to Z.
A to Z.
A to Z. In A to Z, the boy in the whole screen.
Right.
KOIJ. Ready?
Fantastic. Maybe the announcement.
Wow, ABC games say because we're trouble. Okay.
Inti Ken, main point in England say no, say markets in the mo. You better value a striker over 120 million pounds. It should be a class A striker. A class A striker is not our market in this say Haaland.
Haaland.
Mbappe.
Haaland.
Harry Kane. Lewandowski mo. A class A for.
Not being Jackson Wayne.
Oh C.
Jackson was C. Isak was saying
B.
Sesko Wayne.
Sesko me didn't C.
B for him for.
Oh B mefa Julian Alvarez. Exactly mefa Isak. Oh we should market mo be bebre. What I say? Because still my again so that you understand my point is that a class A striker for minimum of 3 years you are performing in the league and in the Champions League. And the reason why I am taking Alexander Isak out of this argument is that this boy, he's only played about 6 games in the Champions League. Oh, Barca Obo against Tottenham or Dortmund. And after now no group stages. Group stages, what's just 1 goal into only Champions League experience. Biasa. But markets no more now and the Liverpool for a position in the way. Me didn't see a mentias and say Liverpool if 95 million euros. Yet it looks like their post side is that. I said they are too desperate for Alexander Isak. Meanwhile, they paid over 95 million euros for a striker. It's the almost position in the transfer markets and I'm a Newcastle for no access for more. Now the question is say 150 million pounds the Newcastle for so budget. 150 million pounds.
Well,
are Liverpool ready to pay 150 million pounds?
150.
Wow. And he's all
150 you would do. Okay, maybe bread, but ABC games, so and you drawn a 3 letters, and I was created sovereignty, and your room fee. Because what I start 2 says 2 hash, start 2 says 2 hash or phone. So, all pick 3 letters from A to Z. 3 from A to Z. And then 3 letters in a boy, and you're drawing 60 at the amount. Well, Biggie.
Ken. I was in Liverpool. So pay Isak and one day was only a scan on the chair. 150 no. Say a good time be a one. Baby, I would do who be see. Said the obey your own. And then the Beman depend who say, a semester dear. A boy am a deep way, obey me a chair.
Mbwemonukunya is saying.
Can say,
in
Mbwemonukunya.
I will not have what I'm saying. Baku is 60.
Baku is 62, Baku is 75.
Baku is 75, Baku is 62.
Any BBA.
Okay.
And
that, okay, all that was it. Timer, Manchester United, no. El Topo Bamo around 89.
What's the wood you two? 130.
Number 130.
A bro.
No, I say, Isaac plus 2. Difference between that.
Everything I make us say Liverpool play and then quad yeah. Because during the days that Manchester United did top Obama 89, United bought certain players. Looking at the kind of the top Obama. After Obiane Manchester United be diga, or who say United you will scout Bobona Obetia. Shishika Liverpool dia kwa kofe kitike, and then about Bobo Konim. So catch him say a kitike performance times 2. Memo says he cannot double. Na me family for Alexander Isak looking at the performance again. Me get to say Isak performance and I was so and the check ticket the bebre. That is why I'm saying say we say Liverpool team in Yeska. So pay Isak in Quadia looking at a bona omo So the akwa to eketike ne de. Isaac de no ongugu mu mfa mawo. And number 2, Liverpool me sure say transfer window we onu ni team a ne ho eye Newcastle for one he pa. E wo wiase. I am saying Liverpool win Newcastle for one he because Newcastle na the number 1 target was Ekitike. Na Newcastle pen. So they wanted to do business. So person will play player na dia yen ntem. Never Isaac ni enko for Ekitike. You didn't come for Isaac. What for Ekitike? Ye number 1 no. O for number 1 ni we no. And Manchester United, yeah, number 2, and so Sesko. United never did command and found the Champions League at Newcastle. The player is getting interest in the Manchester United project. Etienne, so United will scar. Sesko is not against over Manchester United. Etienne number 2. I need that to say, yeah, first in point, for the backup. No, or also, we are Manchester United a fan. I find now by a was a whooping sack. A two but all boy and all brave to another thing.
Oh, okay. Matua Semnasi.
Yes.
Not just say, not just say, come for Ekitike.
Debbie.
Liverpool Jay Ekitike.
Yes. No, never find Isaac no your priority no.
Newcastle Kofano.
Akwa Kofano.
Yes. And I'm a Kofa Ekitike.
Oko fe Ekitike aba.
Isaac.
Who we also be for Isaac. The nan ka be for Isaac I also be Kofano. What now Manchester United dey afa no.
Okay.
Et Liverpool win Newcastle and hiche obi a we ase. So they want to drag the transfer. Not possibly say akoko be dey na ekompo a. Ye hu say ya gisika bi e sombo. Ene atono. And the Liverpool boka bi a kin obi anya no no mo. Me boss bi ka asem bi kire be sebi. O se woni sika o kan kwase asem. Ena wonya sika so a wodi nkwase asem. Because the one sika no. Ade na sika ni ye no fa ne say ade ya sika ni ye de o se sika kwa. Ba se bia wo na nka wonya sa sika na. Nka wo be ya aboro so. Ken moving on. Team my friend said Tottenham wants to build the attacking machinery. There's a new coach and on person be investment. Ya titi dini bebre. Some kwa strikers. E di ababa be team demo. One of the strikers we ya ni dia ba bonten Kolomwani. Kolomwani is a bad player. If you are looking at Kolomwani last season, about half season Edema Juventus Boboko no. About 16 matches we league no. 16 matches now boy no 8 goals and Edema Juventus. And it's a Ujina sa numbers and so. No akofana about Tottenham and bad. But if you are looking at Tottenham since the exit of player friend say Harry Kane, what has been the goal scoring for the strikers of more Tottenham Boboko no? Harry Kane ko you know. Strike on Kokofana by Dominic Solanke. Solanke the baby Jinem e body ma Boboko no. Last season, now open Tottenham top striker. I will share goals kese and as a player with the most goals for Tottenham. Nenye Solanke na e Kokofana by Brent Johnson or be share 11 in the Tottenham. Solanke na e Kokofana by as the striker. I don't be replace Harry Kane the Kane or share 9 goals. It will league no and the Tottenham. But the last season Harry Kane boy Emma Tottenham and Sana Ofi on my join Bayern Munich or share 30 goals in the league. Before that season or share 17. 2 seasons before that or share 23. If the Harry Kane one striker will prove it beyond reasonable doubts consistently in English Premier League anymore. It is all Lucy such a striker. Looking at the kind of quality out of the Baba show team no. And yeah, one of the reasons I Boama team Negina and as a team the more they want to bet perform. Tottenham team replace player ni ye. And I know ne ka ho and I'm more form no air form no. Because Harry Kane goes no the be ma no. De bia e do be baso. E be push you do wa ba animu. Time bia Harry Kane be season ni be wie bia no. Not less than 15 Premier League goals. Or share 17, no or share 23, no or share 30. And the my team my friend is Tottenham. It will not quality goals the time bia e pia ma compete for the top 4 spot. Now we qualify for Champions League any idea. It is a Tottenham I am dream. So those kind of performances are no muhu, especially when Harry Kane was part of the team. No more qualify for Champions League consistently. No more poor. English Premier League ni more. I'm person get back to that kind of format. I'm making sure that he cannot best spend it on a striker. No, men disrespect Kolomwani, Debbie. But I'm a striker who you proven because Dominic Solanke had 9 goals at the man as a striker. Now you'll be bad. I was so probably you way better than Dominic Solanke. That's a Solanke be a backup and your problem. But I know bit to say Kolomwani. I want to a proven goal scorer. And I'll call Fanaba so I'm solve our problem now. A baby as and now to striker. I no credit. But now when Timia Mama may Jumana was expected at the free ornament. It is not a bad player. But say per starter. More goals than Dominic Solanke there. I feel they should be looking at other players more numbers consistently and also so I was through. Ken Florian Wirtz I call for the number 7 jersey with Liverpool. And per reports are Ebano. Almost as yes, almost 2 jerseys within 1 hour. Number 42,000 jerseys of a player friend is a Florian Vets.
Is any from
Ken
42,000?
Yes, in 1 hour.
Yes, yes.
Supporters need 2 jerseys now. Who they play na you. But almost 2 jerseys now. You who can play our both team establish a Jimmy Dean and I can jersey sales cost.
When so bit my son salary.
In terms of jersey sales, performance and the beche. And a nothing American one seminar. Looking at the numbers, how the free Germany ever from the Bundesliga, I was sure Liverpool expected a lot. Over last year preseason on the performance, then you're bad. Who to be in a preseason, no so fun judge player, but at least O'Shea in the preseason. Not born now, a boy, you know. Almost every Liverpool star boy. Now you boy, you know, J man of the match are clearly. What's send this signal with the amount supporters, you know. I am sure that it is one of the reasons. It's almost for justice because I feel so many yes. But there have been German midfielders. By England and Yaman Konkayan Fama. We Michael Ballack seen China. We see we need seen China as like on a farmer. And then we may suit Ozel. And so they are seeing China. Push will be players need be and more huge prospect. There was one young player, Marco Maren, minimum over Kaina, and a Chelsea Tono. Now I'm friend the German Messi. Say about ball, pass a ball. He was one of the best in Germany. But on making move or baby play more Chelsea in the English Premier League, I'm fan. Sebastian Schweinsteiger level. Maybe I know about what do. I was Germany, Bayern Munich, say a Champions League, say a national team, whatever. But on making a move to Manchester United, I'm fan. And your man Konkai. At that time, only Mourinho never be shy. And a problem is baby any idea because I know no person or bobo no you know just say more no person or it in as much say expectations in the cost looking at the numbers or deba any performance I was done in the first preseason game or boy you know Liverpool supporters then limit expectations no you Germans are no mu din wasro my Bob Bastian Schweinsteiger Germans are near tout almost the future of German football but almost by England no Timo Werner.
Oh, Timo Werner, badge in the Champions League.
No, your squad member. Timo Werner. No, your squad member. Chelsea best players don't count.
Timo Werner. Almost lost three defenders. Timo Werner.
No, your squad member.
In the Champions League. Your member will touch your income. It's your on your floor.
Champions League, no more Boajaman. It's you know, I'm a Boajaman. It's you know, I feel that he's a quality player, but supporters need limited expectations, you know, going into the season.
But for Vix, you one player, you turner pressure about Cooper playing this one. If you go take pressure on the for Vix, when to me man home because born now go preseason, you will be uncapping. But in Kawa, player one now was an expensive signing. All British football history. Onakabo ba ko bi anke tro.
Asem de waka pa. Ampo I say.
Na kamade no kwa anka abete.
Ken I say
na de na obi de na toto Jude. Madrid na wako ko du anka go say.
Ken waka say. Honestly. We was I say Florida pressure ni so crowd. As obi yi na need am no.
Ebe jira mu. Ba ko fa nchan. Umu de no mo
ye. Season your correct crowd no pressure ba no so na say ansem.
People are not talking so much because they use season.
Let me for bit now na say what.
Ken Odiama season then started. Not ball now so much like ball last season no. Yes so we a better change so much like. Any aba be fa waba. Now when timi am mo nuru sa standard na na say antra. I want to go musa man for her.
We don't say, your friend is you.